All right, now we're recording. So welcome again. Take a breath. Welcome to this space. Thank you for being here. And we'd love to start by thinking about what we can all do to really make this space as gentle and quiet for ourselves over the next hour as possible. This is all about learning some new self-care strategies. So a couple of things I would invite you to consider are turning off your phone, minimizing any browsers that you have pulled up on your computer, especially things like email or social media that are dinging or notifying you when something new is happening. If you have any news websites pulled up, please close them. This is an invitation to really focus in on one singular thing for the next hour, which is how to better take care of yourself. And learning how to shut out stimuli that causes more stress is a very important part of learning how to take care of ourselves when things are very stressful all around us. I also invite you to just check in with your body and notice, is there anything that you need before we dive in? A cup of water, a blanket, a bathroom break. Really just checking in for a moment and asking yourself, what do I need to feel very comfortable for the next 60 minutes? I am Maegan Megginson. Just to give you a little bit of background about who your presenters are this evening. My co-presenter, Julianna, will introduce herself when she's up to share some good information with you in a few minutes. Julianna and I work at the Center for Couples and Sex Therapy here in Portland, Oregon. And we both felt really strongly that we wanted to do something to really step up for our community and provide for you all of the skills and techniques that we're using ourselves right now to stay calm, cool, and collected. This is a scary time and we're all panicking a little bit. So there is a collective fear that is really intensifying the stress and overwhelm that we are all feeling. And being in isolation doesn't help. So here we are together. I know we can't see everyone's faces, but in this moment, reflecting that there are 35 people present in this meeting right now. There are 35 of us all together who are joined in this common task for the next hour of really working together to take better care of ourselves during this stressful time. So thank you again for being here. And let's get rolling. So let's talk about stress and anxiety. I'm going to give you a little bit of background information about how Julianna and I understand stress and anxiety. You know, to begin, when we're in a difficult situation that feels overwhelming, we often tell ourselves that stress and anxiety are things that are happening to us, right? We get overwhelmed by our emotional experiences, and the implication here is that the stress and anxiety that we feel are out of our control, right? We become victims to our emotional experiences. We feel totally helpless to do anything about the stress and anxiety that we're feeling. Now, the truth is that right now, we absolutely don't have any control over our current circumstances, right? The things that are happening around this public health crisis and the quarantines and the isolations, you know, individually, we can't do anything about that. However, we always have the ability to regulate our own emotional experiences. So even if our context, our environment is full of stress and overwhelm, I have the tools that I need to keep myself calm and level-headed. So we're here today to learn how to do that. You know, how do we understand our minds and our bodies? How can we learn to intervene when we get caught up in a stress response cycle? Right? I really do believe that we can make active changes to our automatic stress reactions, and we can begin to create a sense of calm and ease instead of the anxiety and stress that feels like it's just washing over us like a tidal wave and, you know, taking us out to sea. So just to clarify, today our goal is to help you identify some of your stress reactions and give you a toolbox of strategies that you can use to reduce stress and anxiety when it comes up in your body and in your mind. The first thing we need to do here is to become familiar with the stress response cycle, and more specifically with our individual stress responses. The stress response cycle as a whole is the way our thoughts, emotions, body sensations, and actions work together to create this domino effect, right? Maybe you can connect right now with the experience of feeling like you're caught up in a stress cyclone, right? You're just spinning around in stress, and it feels like there's no way to step outside of the stress that you're experiencing. We are very good at creating self-perpetuating cycles of stress in our bodies and in our mind. We do have the ability to step outside of those cycles and to create cycles that are perpetuated by pleasantness and feeling calm and relaxed and safe. So the easiest way to understand this, I give you a real life example. And Julianna and I were talking before. We were trying to identify what are some stress responses that we ourselves are feeling right now, because chances are, if she and I are feeling them, we're not alone. That the other people who are sitting here with us tonight are feeling similar stress responses. So a big one for me right now is what I notice happen in my body and mind when I'm scrolling through social media. So if you can take yourself for a moment into your body, into some recent memories when you are scrolling through social media and you're seeing things that scare you, right? You're seeing photos, articles, people's reactions, and you notice that your body begins to tense, and perhaps the thought crosses your mind, oh no, this is really bad. That's the thought. And then we get curious, what is the emotion that follows that thought? Well, for me, it's likely fear and stress. And then I want to look at the sensation. What's the body sensation that follows the emotion? In this case, it might be tightening or tension or pain. And then what's the action that I take as a result of thinking, oh no, this is really bad, and feeling scared and stressed and tensing up in my body? Maybe the first action is, oh, I feel compelled to get more information, so I keep scrolling. I just need to keep reading. I need to find more. What am I going to do? And maybe I get stuck in a black hole Facebook vortex of looking at articles and posts, trying to find the answers. What's important there is to look at what happens in my mind and body as I allow myself to be propelled by the things that are causing me stress and fear and anxiety, right? Maybe I start snapping at my kids, or I'm not being kind to my partner, or I forget to eat dinner, or I haven't had a glass of water in 5 hours because I'm so stressed. Whatever the outcome is, I hope you can get a sense in your own body of how one stress cycle leads to another, until I'm in this place of chronic stress where I really feel like there is no way out of it for me. Another example that we're seeing a lot right now is what's happening to us when we're going to the store. So for example, if you go to the store, you're in Fred Meyer and you're looking for toilet paper, and there is no toilet paper to be found. In fact, the only thing you can find are a bunch of other people who are really stressed out about not being able to buy toilet paper. And you look around and you see all of these people kind of stress hoarding, panic buying. I saw people like swiping gallons of water off the shelf and filling up their baskets, and just in this state of panic. Well, what am I going to think in that moment? I found myself thinking, oh my God, like, this must be much worse than I thought it was, and then I'm in a panic state. Do I need to be stress buying too? They're getting all the water. Should I buy all the water? And then all of a sudden you're just here, you're in complete stress and overwhelm. And if we really unpack that, what's the thought? Well, the thought is, this must be worse than I think. Why is everyone buying everything? What's the emotion? Panic. What's the sensation? I feel sick to my stomach. What's the action? I start panic buying. What's the result of all of this? I get into the car. I feel scared. I feel alone. Maybe all of a sudden I feel terribly ashamed of how much money I just spent at the store, and I'm looking at all of the stuff I bought that I don't need. Whatever the reaction is, I think it's pretty easy to see how that reaction then leads to an entirely new stress response cycle. What's wrong with me that I just fed into that? And then I feel shame and heaviness. Or I need to go to another store and buy even more. I'm still in panic. I'm still in stress. I'm still in overwhelm, and it feeds into itself. So these are just a couple of examples. Really, you can identify stress responses with just about any topic or any experience that you're having in your life. What we know is that we have to learn how to slow down, identify our stress responses, and catch ourselves when we're getting triggered by something that sends us into this state of overwhelm. Only then can we begin to do this work to slow down and use some of the tools that Julianna and I are going to give you tonight to create a self-perpetuating cycle of peacefulness and relaxation and groundedness. Now, we don't have time today to do one-on-one exercises with you guys to help you identify your stress responses, but we do want to invite you after the presentation this evening to spend some time with yourself, seeing if you can identify 2 or 3 examples specifically related to the quarantine and the virus, a few examples of ways in which your stress response gets activated. You can even use this graphic to map it out for yourself. It's very helpful when you slow down and force yourself to really think about your own reactions in this very nuanced way. So now that we're all feeling stressed and anxious and thinking about our stress response cycles and everything that feels hard and scary right now, we're going to meditate. And I'm going to walk you through a body scan meditation. So for those of you who are newer to meditation practice, I'm going to walk you through this practice. It's going to take about 5 to 10 minutes. And I'm going to invite you to close your eyes to get comfortable. And then I'm going to walk you through the meditation using my voice. So all you have to do is listen to my voice and breathe and think about what's happening in your body. We're going to scan your entire body, and our intention here tonight is to get really curious about where in your body you are holding on to stress and fear. Right? The stress response cycle is very intellectual, right? That's the way my thinking brain can unpack my stress and get clear on what I do, when, and why. But we also have to be able to know our bodies and to connect with how my body is being impacted by stressful situations. So take some nice deep breaths and really get settled wherever you're sitting right now. If you're on the couch, if you're laying in your bed, just allow yourself to breathe and sink in to the surface where you rest. And you can begin by taking a few slow, deep breaths. In through your nose, out through your mouth. And I want you to imagine that you have a flashlight. And this is a flashlight that you can shine up and down your body. We're going to call this the light of your awareness. And as you breathe and settle into this space, I invite you to shine the light of your awareness onto your feet. Really noticing, how are your feet? Are they making contact with a sock or a blanket? Are they pressed flat against the ground? Are they warm or cool? Soft, scratchy? Is there any pulsation or tension? Or maybe you feel nothing at all. Just becoming aware of what really is alive in your feet right now. And when you're ready, shifting the light of your awareness from your feet up into your ankles. Very slowly making your way into your calves and your shins. And then pausing here. What do you notice here? Is there tightness, tenderness? Does it feel pleasant in your calf? Or do you notice discomfort there? No right or wrong answer, just really meeting this one part of your body with your full attention. Moving that light up into your knees. Slowly making your way into your thighs and your hamstrings. Again, noticing what's here. Warmth, coolness, tightness, discomfort. And when your mind wanders away from this focus on your body, which it absolutely will, naming that your mind has wandered and seeing if you can redirect your attention back into your body. Shifting the light up your legs and into your pelvic floor and your hips. Again, noticing what's here. No judgment, no expectation, no right or wrong. Just meeting the space in your body that does so much work for you with your undivided attention. What am I holding here? And shifting the light up even further into your stomach and your lower back. Is there hunger or fullness? Energy? Tightness? Warmth? Just noticing. Is anything here? And continuing to shine the light up into your chest, your rib cage, your upper back. What's here? Am I holding anything? Am I at ease or am I not? And if I'm not, what is it? What is it that's happening in this space? Shining the light now on your shoulders and allowing yourself at your own pace to travel all the way down your arm into your fingers and back up again. Staying focused on what's happening here in this body right now. Shining the light down your shoulders into your upper back, am I holding? Moving the light up into your neck, base of your skull. Shining the light gently around your face, noticing if there's any place here that you're holding tension that maybe you don't need to be. Moving the light over the back of your head, all the way up to the very top, the crown of your head. What is here? What am I feeling? And now allowing yourself to expand the light of your awareness to include your entire body. Just asking yourself, where am I holding my stress? Where am I holding my fear? And when you identify that place that feels activated for you, that feels tense or tight or stressed, I want to invite you to take your hand and just gently place it over that space in your body, wherever it may be. Your chest, your stomach, your shoulders, your neck, your face, your left foot. Who knows? And give yourself permission to make contact. And notice then how it feels. How does it feel to make contact, physical contact? To notice the warmth, to notice the deep care that you are giving to this space in your body that's holding so much fear and overwhelm for you right now. To notice, oh, I can meet myself in this way. And now, if it feels right, expanding the light of your awareness beyond your body and expanding to include all of the people who are sitting here right now doing this together. "35 people sitting here tonight in this moment, noticing where we are holding fear and stress, meeting ourselves with compassion, and expanding to share that compassion with others who are sharing this very human experience of not knowing really what's happening or what we're going to do about everything that's unfolding." And just noticing for a moment that I'm here with me, and we're here together, and we're all doing this act of showing up with compassion and care, that we're choosing compassion and care for ourselves and others instead of choosing more stress and more anxiety and more overwhelm, and just noticing how it feels to be with a different type of experience. And when you're ready, allowing your attention to return to your breath. And gently begin shifting, wiggling your toes, stretching your hands. And as you're ready, ever so slowly, allowing yourself to open your eyes and come back into this room. And just being with whatever that evoked for you, whatever you noticed about your body, about your experience. Just remembering that it's one thing to know intellectually what my stress is all about, and it's another thing to sink into what my body is trying to tell me about this stress, and beginning to notice the ability that we all have to soothe ourselves and to choose presence and groundedness over stress and anxiety. Now, the body scan is wonderful, but it's a little bit time consuming, and it's hard to do in public places when we're driving. So we want to give you today a very portable practice that you can take out into the world with you, a practice that you can call on when you recognize, oop, stress is here. This is where I'm holding my stress right now. And so maybe for me, it's in my chest. I feel a lot of anxiety and tension in my chest. So if I'm, driving the car or sitting at the office, if I notice my chest is tight, my stress is present, I can call on a portable breathing practice to calm my body quickly and effectively whenever I'm feeling stressed or anxious. So this practice is called the 5-by-5 breathing exercise. And what we're going to do, we are going to breathe in for 5 counts, hold our breath for 5 counts, exhale for 5 counts, and we're going to do it 5 times. And if you find that 5-by-5 is too much for you, do 3-3-3 or 4-4-4. It doesn't really matter. It's really just about, do I have a practice in my back pocket that I can call on when I become aware that my body is absorbing stress and tension? So now that we just did that body scan, hopefully you identified a space in your body where this stress is showing up. And if you can, draw your attention back to that place, even if it feels nice and soothed now, I'm sure you can imagine the last time it felt activated. So take your mind back to that experience. When was the last time I felt this clenching in my belly or this heaviness in my chest? And don't get too deep into it, but just recall what that experience was like. And I'm going to walk you through this exercise now. And I want you just to notice, how are you feeling now? And then at the end, you'll check in again and you'll notice, gather some data. Did that breathing exercise do anything for me? Does that feel like a practice that, might be helpful for me to take into my everyday life? A couple of suggestions. When you inhale, do it through your nose. And when you exhale as if you're blowing out a candle on a birthday cake. So it should be audible. So you really want to exhale a nice stream of air. That way we are engaging your nervous system in a way that's really going to slow things down and soothe that stress and anxiety that you're experiencing. So do whatever you need to do. You need to shake it out a little bit or just take a nice cleansing breath. And I'm going to begin in just a moment. Breathe in, 2, 3, 4, 5. Hold, 2, 3, 4, 5. Out, 2, 3, 4, 5. In, 2, 3, 4, 5. Hold, 2, 3, 4, 5. Out, 2, 3, 4, 5. In, 2, 3, 4, 5. Hold, 2, 3, 4, 5. Out, 2, 3, 4, 5. In, 2, 3, 4, 5. Hold, 2, 3, 4, 5. Out, 2, 3, 4, 5. In, 2, 3, 4, 5. Hold, 2, 3, 4, 5. Out, 2, 3, 4, 5. And slowly letting your breath return to normal, being really mindful not to breathe too fast. And just checking in. How was that for me? How did it feel to slow down and breathe? And I'm sure you noticed that I tried to slow down as we went through, which is something I highly recommend. Usually, when we're in a state of stress, we can't take very long breaths. We're so tight and constricted that deep breath is not available to us. We can only do shallow breath. But as I relax and really get into my felt experience, bigger breaths become more accessible to me. And I want to really lean on that, because the deeper I'm breathing, the slower I'm breathing, the more I'm regulating my very stressed nervous system. Okay, so this is the portable breathing practice that we want you to walk away here today. You can do this whenever you need to. You don't have to close your eyes. You can be engaged in your environment, and you can do this and nobody needs to know about it. The body scan, you can YouTube body scan meditation. If you are on any meditation apps, I'm sure there are many variations of the body scan available there. And we'll have more meditation recommendations at the end. So hopefully you're feeling a bit soothed now. We are getting clearer about our stress responses, how to interrupt them, how to check in with our body, how to soothe our body. So now we're going to move to Julianna, and we're going to talk more about how do we soothe our minds, and what are some actionable behavioral changes we can be making in our day-to-day routines right now, to hopefully lead to less stress and more groundedness. So give us just a second here. Julianna and I are going to swap screen shares. So I'm going to stop my share, and Julianna is going to start sharing. Perfect.
Perfect. Did that work?
Yes, great.
Awesome. So hi, everyone. I'm Julianna Guenther. I'm a resident therapist at the Center for Couples and Sex Therapy, and I'm really happy to be here. So thank you, Megan. So I'm going to discuss just some tangible strategies for stress relief and also soothing your mind and your nervous system, and really intervening on that stress cycle that Megan just outlined for us. So first is boundaries around media and social media consumption. So like Megan's example, there's a lot out there on social media and just in the news in general. So one tangible way to really be mindful around it is giving yourself a daily time limit on media consumption. And I know that sounds really hard because it's such a big part of our lives. But right now, in the time that we're in, this might be something that is useful and helpful, even though it feels pretty difficult. And then, so if another tangible thing that we can do around media or social media is just mindfulness around the type of media we're consuming. So checking, is it factual? What's the source? Where is this coming from? So on social media, as we know, there's a lot that's circulated, and oftentimes the sources can induce panic, and we don't know where it's coming from. So a great way to kind of check in is like, is this factual? Am I getting the correct information, or am I just, jumping into that stress cycle that maybe this person who posted it is currently experiencing? Another way to kind of check in around media or social media, and this is something that I'll talk about throughout, is just checking in, how do I feel before I'm going on social media or checking the news? So am I in this stress cycle? How do I feel during? So those sensations, those feelings. And then how do I feel after I'm consuming this media? Do I feel more regulated? Do I feel more connected? Or do I feel more stressed? Do I feel more anxiety? Am I going back for more? Am I more confused? So really just checking in with yourself, like, why am I seeking this media or the social media? How am I feeling during it? And then how am I feeling after? So I think that's really important. And kind of just seeing what's best for you and seeing what it would be like to give yourself a time limit during this time. Another is kind of around our other example around going to the grocery store. So actively being prepared, but not hoarding out of anxiety. So mindfulness around preparedness. And so really exploring, like, what do I need to feel safe in this moment? What do I need for my family to feel safe, for those around me to feel safe? Is it 20 gallons of water? Chances are it's not. So kind of just checking in, like, what am I needing in this moment? And so you can also check in around the factual of, like, how much supplies are we needing right now? Are we needing 2 weeks? Are we needing 6 months? As of right now, it's 2 weeks. So just really checking in with the facts and really staying grounded in what you need to do to feel safe and not kind of giving into that collective panic. And so with that, looking at ways to stay connected during this time, because I know we're all in isolation and quarantine, and it can feel really difficult. And so kind of looking at creative ways to stay connected. So oftentimes fear breeds in isolation, and oftentimes providing and receiving support from those around us can help alleviate anxiety. And it also regulates our nervous system. So action can also alleviate feelings of hopelessness and help mitigate feelings of isolation. So we're going to look at some ways that we can connect with those we love, and then also the community as well. So really checking in and relying on the social support, I got it, that you already have. So FaceTiming, Zoom, video chat. I put those first before calling, because really looking into the faces of those we love helps regulate our nervous system. So a phone call is great. It's a great way to check in and to chat, stay connected, but really utilizing the video technology we have and feeling really grateful that we even have that at a time like this. But really looking into the faces of those we love. It also keeps us more present when we are talking because they are looking at us and we're looking at them. Oftentimes on the phone, we can get distracted, even looking at social media when we're on the phone with others. So really utilizing video. And also just sharing how you're feeling with those around you. Oftentimes when we are stressed or anxious, some of us do shut down a little, or we kind of keep that to ourselves in fear of burdening others. But just kind of looking, what would it be like for me to be like, hey, I'm really scared, or I'm really stressed, and really relying on those that love you and that you love. So texting, calling, also connecting with people on social media. So kind of going back to what we talked about around media, like, am I feeling more connected when I'm on social media? If the answer is yes, great. Utilize that. It's a way to stay connected and a way of, like, posting things and really building that community. And also a way to feel connected to the community is supporting small businesses. As you know, they are taking a really hard hit with everything that's going on. And so ways that we can stay connected to the community are supporting our community. So that may look like shout outs on social media. So posting and kind of highlighting places that you love, places that are needing support, writing reviews and testimony. A lot of us have a lot of time on our hands, so we were able to, like, get on Yelp or whatever other place and kind of write reviews and testimonies for those that you love and businesses that you love. Buying gift certificates for later use. It's a great way to support them. Investing in virtual classes or workshops. So maybe trying something you never tried before and supporting, a local small business. Also shopping online with businesses that you feel passionate about, supporting them through money. So, and also creating and utilizing community outreach. So resources are Nextdoor app. Kind of a disclosure is there is a lot of panic on Nextdoor app, so being mindful of that. Megan and I did discuss that could go either way. So just kind of being mindful, but it is a great way to connect to those in close proximity to you. And which can also make us feel safer if we know our neighbors, or we know people that if we need direct access quickly, that they know our names and they know our needs and they know that we're okay. And we also are knowing their needs and able to support them as well. So a way to do that is also maybe creating a list of things that people need in the community or that you're needing. I've seen those going around, and it seems like a great way to stay connected, especially to those really close to you. And then another way of, really just keeping our nervous systems regulated and helping intervene on the stress cycle is movement. And it's specifically movement in nature. So being out in nature and moving our bodies, it helps regulate our nervous system. And, just getting out of the house. And it's funny saying these things because they do seem so, I don't know, obvious. I don't know if it's obvious, but it's like when we're in a time like this, we often forget just like the access we have to the outdoors and what it does for our nervous system and what it does for our bodies and minds and our spirits. So if you're able to, getting outside, of course, staying safe, and movement, that could look like anything. That could look like yoga, stretching, walking, anything. And then also something I put in here was incorporating play into movement. I think in times of high anxiety or stress, really connecting to our inner child is really important and often helps regulate our nervous system. So having fun, maybe that's like playing hopscotch on the sidewalk, playing with your kids, really investing in play and imagination. Because as adults, we often forget how important that is. So I think at a time like this, it's really important to kind of tap into that more playful side of ourselves. And then another great resource, which we just used, is meditation. So it's calming and it brings us back to the present moment and connects us with our bodies. So some great resources around that are YouTube guided meditations, and then also the Calm app. And I don't know if Megan at the end you want to talk a little bit about the Calm app. Okay. And then really, really important, focusing on self-care. And I know that's like a huge word that we throw around a lot now. Well, words, I guess, but so it's really important right now. So creating a schedule for yourself. A lot of us are working from home, so we don't have that schedule that we normally have. And it might be helpful to kind of write one out for yourself in a way that feels structured and makes you feel motivated. And so another part of that is, getting lots of sleep, eating foods that feel good to you, maybe projects or creation, tapping into that play, maybe tidying, organizing, rearranging, showering, taking a bath, also putting on clothes for the day. Because a lot of us can stay in pajamas, maybe pajamas waist down, and we can walk, wake up, be in the house. But really like what it feels like to like put on clothes for that day. Maybe it's even like fancier pajamas. That's okay. Just kind of really, kind of trying to stick to a routine and kind of keep some normalcy. And then also connecting with a therapist, your therapist or a new therapist. And I think we're also going to talk about some resources around that okay. So that's all I have for you. Yeah, I don't really have an ending to like.
No, I think this is great. I think it's so, this comes back to where we're throwing a lot of ideas out at you, and our invitation is to notice what resonates. What part of your daily experience is really getting triggered right now? Is it boundaries around media? Is it, feeling scarcity around supplies and, feeling safe in your home? Or is it isolation? It might be all three, but what we're noticing with our clients in the virtual therapy room is that these are sort of the themes we're noticing where people are getting really triggered into their habitual stress response cycles. Julianna, would you mind going one slide forward? And then we just don't have to do a screen share again.
Of course.
And like Julianna was saying, it's time to take very good care of yourself. And that looks different for all of us. But we just, you know, kind of coming back to the basics. Am I exercising? Am I eating healthy food? Am I getting enough water? Am I getting enough sleep? And am I staying connected with people? Because we know that fear is magnified when we're in isolation. I noticed this in myself, especially over the past week. I'm trying not to leave the house unless I absolutely have to now. But what I was noticing over the past 5 days or so is the longer I was home, the more anxious I was getting. And my stress response was really getting activated. I was, you know, feeling scared. I was feeling scarcity. And then when I would go for a walk or go to the grocery store, I felt instantly a little bit calmer. I was also lucky that I was around people who weren't like freaking out all of the time. So I, you know, looked around and I was like, oh, okay, we're still fine. Everybody's still fine. Like we're all managing this. And it really highlighted for me, like, right, being in isolation, not seeing other people's faces, not having conversations with other people about how they're doing, that's dangerous. So I love Julianna's suggestion of staying connected through video, not audio alone, because it is very soothing to see other people who are feeling calm and grounded. So thank you, Julianna, for those wonderful suggestions. And yes, go ahead and go one more slide forward. Okay, so coming here towards the end, we have about 10 minutes left today in our presentation. We want to end with a reminder of the importance of mental health care right now. And for us, mental health care also includes relationship care. So if it's relationship with your partner, with your children, with your friends, it's very important right now for however many weeks or months we are in this situation, that we're paying really good attention to how am I doing inside and how are my relationships doing. Now is not the time to stop tending to important relationships. So we wanted to remind everyone that individual and couples therapy is still available to you. Every therapist that I know has transitioned their practice online. So you can work with a therapist online, video session, very similar to what we're doing right now. You can do phone sessions. It might feel unusual if you haven't worked with a therapist in that way before, but it's very effective. I've now seen my individual therapist twice via Zoom, and it's been fine. A little bit strange, but you warm up to it in a couple of minutes. And having that space to just kind of show up and be held by someone whose job it is in that moment to be fully focused on you is a really powerful experience. And having someone who can help you identify your stress responses, organize your thoughts, really get clear on, am I taking care of myself in the best way possible? It's interesting because when things get really stressful, sometimes therapy is the first thing that gets like cut off of the schedule because it feels like discretionary or like, I don't have time for that right now. Well, you know, now I need it more than ever. I think we all need it more than ever, this balance of, you know, professional support to make sure I'm doing okay. And then using all of the strategies we talked about today to take care of myself when I am out in the world on my own. So really recommend, if you're not already seeing a therapist, let us know. We're happy to tell you about our folks who have openings, or we can, you know, listen to what kind of provider you need and make suggestions for other people out in the community. But we've got to show up for each other right now. So don't feel like you have to do this in isolation. If therapy is not available to you right now, or if it is, but you need extra support, meditation apps are a wonderful way to get some guidance when I'm, you know, in this process of learning, how do I soothe my body? How do I soothe my mind? Meditation apps are fantastic for that. We will tomorrow, when we send the copy of this webinar out to our email list, we will include a promo code for a 30-day premium subscription to the Calm app, which is one of my favorite meditation apps. And of course, there's always YouTube. So you can always go to YouTube, type in what you're looking for, and you'll find, lots of options to choose from. Speaking of which, if you're joining us tonight and you're not on our email list and you want that resource list tomorrow that we're going to send out, just put your first name and your email address in the chat box. You can send it to me privately as well, if that makes you more comfortable, and we'll make sure you're added to that so you get all of our resources. And then stay tuned. We're hoping to do one of these a week. And what we're doing, honestly, is just we're listening to what our clients are bringing into the room. We're noticing what we're bringing to each other, just human to human. And we're going to do our best to show up for our community and give you the information and the resources and the strategies that we are using with our clients in session every day. So again, we are so grateful that you joined us tonight. I hope that a couple of the things we shared really resonated with you. And stay safe, stay connected, and please reach out if you need support. We are here for you. So we will go ahead and stop the recording, but Julianna and I will hang out for a couple of minutes. So if you want to turn on your video and mic and ask a question or share something, feel free to do that or throw it in the chat box. And yes, again, thank you so much for being here, and we hope you have a wonderful evening, and we'll see you next time.
Do you want me to stop sharing?